Namaskaram, hello, welcome to Cinephile India. In this video, we are discussing a new Hindi movie directed by Lakshman Utekar called Chhaava, based on the book by the same name, Chhaava, written by Shivaji Sawant. And it stars Vicky Kaushal as Sambhaji Maharaj, aka Chhaava, Rashmika Mandana, Akshay Khanna as Aurangazeb, and a bunch of other actors who have been missing from the silver screen for a very long time. And I'll be honest with you, I hadn't imagined that there will come a day where I'll say Vicky Kaushal is probably contending really, really hard with this movie for the National Award this year. I know it's only February, we have 10 months to go. There are a lot of movies still to come up. However, I think his performance as Chhaava in this movie was riveting when I was watching on the big screen. Now let's get into the details. This movie has 6 writers. I'm not going to go into each and every person's name here, but one of the writers, Lakshmikant Utekar, who is also the director, has done a tremendous job in his make-believe. Now, I'm not a history buff. I only know Shivaji. I don't know his entire family lineage to actually even comment on the authenticity of this piece. However, if the novel is anything to go by, and assuming the novel is part fictionalized to showcase the heroism of the Maratha Empire and the Deccan Kingdom, Lakshmikant Utekar, I must say, has done a terrific job in showing the heroism, not just with fights and kicking 1,000 people with one hand, or not just the presence of Vicky Kaushal, the camera angles, the background music by A.R. Rahman, the editing, the dialogue, everything adds up. You know, there are a couple of different ways where you elevate a character on the screen, which is by making them a mass hero, by engaging them in lot of punch dialogues, or that's normal that we see from a lot of movies, and there's nothing wrong in it. It works. However, there's another way where the situations elevate the character. In this case, for example, there is a scene where a young Sambhaji Maharaj confronts Aurangazeb, and the kind of ferociousness that we see in that young kid's eyes, it carries through the entire movie. And I must say, Vicky Kaushal, Bad News was a disaster of a movie, but he has done some good movies. But I always thought he was a limited actor. But this role, he fit like a glove. I was not able to see anybody but Sambhaji Maharaj for the duration of the movie, and that was a great part. He's utterly believable in his role. His dialogue delivery, the way he engages with Rashmika Mandana, who played his wife in the movie, his elders, the camaraderie between friends, the sorrow, and even the heartbreak when he learns about a betrayal within his own family. The range of emotions, he had a tremendous scope to perform, and he kicked it out of the park in this movie. That's why I said he is contending really strong this year for a national award for sure, if not national award, Filmfare. There's no doubt about it. Like even the movie, for example, I think the director Lakshmikant Utekar has done a very good job in treading that fine line between this being a propaganda movie and just being an entertainer. When you have a Mughal emperor as your opposition, who is a Muslim, obviously, and with the current political environment in India, it is very easy to cater to the bottom of the barrel and make this look like a propaganda movie, like some of the movies that we have seen over the past few years. But however, Lakshman Utekar actually treads that line very carefully to make sure not to make this a propaganda movie. Instead, it was thoroughly entertaining just as a movie. Even if you don't know anything about Shivaji, even if you don't know anything about the Maratha Empire, even if you don't know anything about the Mughal Empire, you just go in and watch like any other movie. I can guarantee that you will be invested in the characters in the movie. And every character has done well. Sambhaji Maharaj's character, Rashmika Mandana's character as Sambhaji's wife, even small characters, for example, played by Ashutosh Rana, played by Pradeep Singh Rawat, every character has an impact. Every character contributes meaningfully to the story, and that is what I liked about this movie. Even Aurangazeb's daughter, who actually you will see few dialogues from her. You will see her in a few frames initially without any dialogue, but then when she starts speaking, she starts to make sense. Even that little character in the movie who works for the villain in the movie also had significance in terms of making sure the story and the character moves forward and the character evolves. And that is where the writing shines in this movie, and I absolutely loved it. It's been a long time since I watched a good Hindi movie that came up that actually satisfied me from first frame to the last frame. And Chhaava definitely is one of those movies I can 100% confidently recommend to everybody to watch this movie in the theater. Now, the reason I said theater is you have to enjoy on the big screen the cinematography and the background music by A.R. Rahman. I mean, there are only two music directors who are goated, in my opinion, in the entire Indian film industry. The second place goes to A.R. Rahman, and first place obviously is Ilaiyaraaja, and you can argue to end with me on that, but I'm not gonna budge. But A.R. Rahman he's called a Mozart of Madras for no reason. I mean, you watch this movie and he's doing few movies these days, but again, every music director these days, be it Aniruddha, G.V. Prakash Kumar or Taman or Devi Sri Prasad or anybody you take, and the amount of effort that they put in, the kind of output they have produced over the past few years, you compare this with just one movie A.R. Rahman releases just once a year, it's just no comparison. Absolutely. I mean, he breathed life into this movie, and I think this is going to be one of his best works. I totally enjoyed it. Although the whole experience was amazing, I did feel the film had some missed opportunities with respect to portraying some of the core emotions really hard. For example, there is an important character in this movie that dies, and I did wish the director could have spent a little bit of time to show that death a little bit, to kind of connect emotionally to the audience even more. I thought it was a missed opportunity. And the second half, especially, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj plots a plan to attack the Aurangazeb army. Basically, all the little kingdoms within the Deccan Empire, they actually form little armies and they attack every little branch that tries to invade the Deccan Empire. Those fights, those are ferocious. They had a lot of scope in them, and but unfortunately, they're over too soon. I mean, they start off really well, and you feel like you are getting engaged, and it's over. So I did feel that a little bit of more time would have spent in those fights, at least one or two main ones where some of the major characters die, so that we can feel that emotion even more when Sambhaji Maharaj revolts with anger because of a particular character has died. I think that was a missed opportunity, in my opinion, in this movie. But other than that, of course, there is the entire third act is literal torture and violence that Aurangazeb would inflict upon Sambhaji Maharaj. It was hard to swallow for me, but again, that was the whole point of the movie. They kind of show the kind of torture that Sambhaji Maharaj had to go through to prove his heroism in front of Aurangazeb, and he won by dying. I mean, you will understand when you watch this movie what I mean by that. Other than these two minor aspects, I think the movie was really well done. Every actor played a huge role. Every technician in the movie had played a huge role. Set design, makeup was amazing. Makeup was brilliantly done. I'm glad, except for a couple of VFX shots of the kingdom itself, majority of it was done via practical effects. And I should thank the director for that choice, because typically what's happening these days is even shots like a sword slicing through the body, or even arrows. Nowadays, people are resorting to VFX, and it kind of loses that organic feeling and that impact that it should generate. And in this movie, they opted for practical effects, so you will feel every slice of a sword through the body of a person, and that is brutal, and you cringe. If you are squeamish like me, I definitely cringed when I watched those, and that was the kind of impact the director was going for, and I think it definitely did pay off. I think that's a huge kudos. As I said, this movie, I never imagined I actually when I did my review of last year, I actually said I wouldn't watch a Hindi movie in the theater this year, because last year pretty much every movie I watched turned out to be a disappointment. But I'm glad I went and watched this movie today. I don't know why I did, but I'm so glad I watched this. This is one of those movies you should not miss on the big screen, just to experience the sheer canvas it was made on. It was brilliantly done and amazing. And of course, there's tons of violence in Act 3 in the climax. And if you are not very, I mean, if you watch Game of Thrones, you would probably be okay with this, but to me, I had to close my eyes. That's what I'll say. So that's it for this review. If you like this review, please do consider liking this video to help my channel. And if it's the first time you're watching a video on my channel, please do consider subscribing, and we'll meet you again in another video with another review. Until then, take care.